Buckle up, buttercups. This week's subject is a little bit heavier than some of the other subjects we've covered so far. I had someone contact me and ask a really great question that I wanted to make sure and address. The question was, I just learned that one of my family members has cancer and I have no idea what to do or what to say. What do you think? What should I do? And this is a fantastic question. And it's something that I unfortunately have a lot of experience with because many of my patients are either currently battling cancer or are cancer survivors. So this is a conversation that comes up fairly frequently. Or my patients might have family members that are battling cancer or who they have lost to cancer. So this is a subject that I'm very familiar with, and I want to pass on to you what you can do and say to feel more comfortable and confident about your ability to connect with someone else when this comes up. The first thing that I want to clarify is that just because someone says that they have cancer, it doesn't really give you a lot of information about what's going on with them. Cancer has such a wide variety of difficulties and prognoses and complications that simply saying, I just found out I have cancer, doesn't give you a lot to work with, really. So here's where I would start. The person who has just given you this news, if they've just learned it themselves, they are in their own process in their head of feeling a lot of feelings, feeling confused, feeling overwhelmed, feeling a little lost, feeling emotionally drained. And so your job in that moment with that conversation is to support them. They don't want you freaking out. If your reaction to this news is to start going, oh my God, this is terrible. What are we gonna do? Da, 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 da. It's actually not going to be well received by them. They are already emotionally spent dealing with the news and everything that comes with it. Having to turn into the person who's consoling you because you are having a cow about their diagnosis isn't the position that you want to put them in. That's not what they need. They don't need you to freak out. They want to know that you care and that you're supportive. They want a listening ear. They might need a hug, but keep your reaction within the limits of concern and care. But keep your reaction capped to a certain level of excess. Okay, so there's the first thing. So what do you actually say? How I usually go about this when someone tells me that they've just learned that they have had cancer, that they have cancer, is I will say, that's horrible. I'm so sorry to hear that. How did you find out? What happened? Because those two questions, how did you find out or what happened, they're not overly private questions. And they allow that person to divulge as much or as little information as they want to, instead of asking really specific questions like, what kind of cancer is it? Did they give you a prognosis? Are you gonna have to do this and this and this and this? That gets really invasive and draining. Let them take the lead on what they want to say and how much they want to disclose to you. Simply asking, how did you find out, gives them control of the conversation. They might have found out because they were going in for a regular screening, and that could be good news. If they found out during a screening, there's a very high chance that they found out early and that the cancer is in an early stage in their prognosis, meaning the expected outcome is a lot better. So that's actually a good thing. But if they say, well, I was having all these symptoms and I didn't know what to do and my doctor sent me for these tests and then we found this out, that can get a little more messy because at that point, there is some question as to how far along they are in the process. But you don't ask that. You don't ask, well, how bad is it? Is basically what you don't ask. Any form of like, how bad is it, is not the way that you want to go about this question. What you want to focus on is, how did you find out? What happened? And then the next thing you want to ask is kind of the plan. So has your doctor given you any sort of plan? Do you know what the next steps are? Do you know what you're supposed to be doing next about all of this? Again, you're giving them control of the conversation where they can divulge to you what they feel comfortable sharing. And you're not being so overly specific with your questions. So again, the better question is, do you know what the next steps are? Have you had a chance to talk to your regular doctor about this? Do you know what's going to happen next? Those are open-ended questions. They're not overly specific. They're not overly private. And it gives that person the chance to explain only what they want to explain and nothing more. So then the next follow-up question you want to ask is, how can I help? If this is a friend or a family member, someone you're close to, you want to say, how can I help? And they will probably say they don't know. They'll probably say, I don't know what I need, because they're just a little bit overwhelmed. And you could offer, well, let me know what you need when you think of it. Or you can say, well, is it okay if I check in with you in a few weeks to see how you're doing and to see how I might be able to help you? Or you could give them a few suggestions. Do you have a ride to get to your appointments? Do you need help with a ride to get to your appointments? Do you need somebody to watch the kids for you while you're gone for your treatments? Or would you like me to take the kids for the weekend so that you can get some extra rest and they can get out of the house for a few days? Or maybe they need help with a meal train or some other kind of way that you can support them. And that's going to be your next best bet. So the conversation, the big questions that are safe questions that you can ask, they're not overly private. You're not about to open a can of really bad, Pandora's box here, is to ask, how did you find out? Do you know what your next steps are? What can I do to help? Those are the three main questions that are safe questions to ask someone that you're close to. Now, if you are getting the impression that this person doesn't want to talk about it, that's fine. They might be so drained and so emotionally spent that they really they don't want to talk about it. They can't talk about it anymore. They can't think straight enough to answer your questions. And in that instance, you can simply offer, I heard that you had some really bad news. You don't have to talk about it. I'm sure you don't want to talk about it, but I just want you to know that I care and that I'm so sorry and that I want to help and I'm here for you if you want to talk or if you need anything. That's what you can say to somebody that you're not sure what to say. And that's kind of the next thing is, what if I know that this person has this diagnosis, but they aren't talking about it and we're in the room together? Maybe it's a family event, holidays are coming up. I don't know what to say. It is perfectly acceptable for you to say, hey, I know that you got some bad news recently. I'm so sorry to hear it. I know you probably don't want to talk about it, but I just want you to know that I'm here if you want to talk anytime. I'm here for you, whatever you need. And then that's it. And you can say, I don't want to corner you. You can enjoy the rest of the party, but I just couldn't let the night go by without saying something because I'm thinking about you. And that's a beautiful way to approach it. That way they don't feel cornered, they don't feel pressured, but they do feel seen and heard and cared for and supported. And that, my friend, is all you need to do. You don't need to take away all of their troubles, but letting them know that you care and you're there for support is an amazing gift that you can give. If this is a subject that you really want to dive deeper into, I have a whole section about it in my book, Navigating and Avoiding Awkward Conversations, How to Speak to Anybody About Anything. It's available on Amazon, Kindle, and Audible. Links are in my bio if you're interested. I have a lot of great topics that I go over, but grief, illness, cancer, some of those really tricky, difficult topics, those are right there in the book for you for this reason, so that when these things come up, you're not left with nothing to say. You're left feeling confident that you know what to say in order to connect with someone in the way that you want. Okay, friends, that was a big one. I really hope that this helped you a lot. Please like this video, tag a friend that you think might be interested or might find this information helpful, and feel free to send me a DM about this topic or any other topic that you need. I will always be happy to do a video to respond to you directly, but also to do a video for the benefit of everybody on topics that you want to learn more about. Sending you all my love. Bye.